In this video, I'm going to show you how to go about adding your first estimate to iScope. Come up here to the top left of the main screen and hit Add Estimate. I typically start my estimates off with the last name of the client, followed by a comma and then a space and then the first name. And then you want to go ahead and fill in the address. This is the primary address where the actual client lives. If they have a loss address that is different than the primary address, you want to go ahead and uncheck this button here and fill in that loss address. So for instance, if they live here but the house that you're working on is a rental home, you want to be sure that the loss address is properly filled out because of the fact that the zip code of the loss address is what the pricing is going to be based off of. And so let's say that the homeowner lives in, I don't know, Oregon, and you're doing some work for them on a rental home in Orlando, Florida. Well, the pricing in Orlando, Florida is going to be significantly higher, more than likely, than in Oregon, depending on what part of Oregon they live in. And so if you were to leave the address the same, it's going to give you pricing based upon their Oregon address. So you don't want that. Go ahead and uncheck this and fill in the actual property address if it is in fact different than the client's address. So let's go ahead and fill this in. And then the next thing we're going to fill in is going to be claim details, if any. If an insurance company is involved, you may decide you want to fill in the carrier, the policy number, all of that good stuff. This is the sales tax rate. The sales tax rate is not intelligent. You're going to have to put that in there. You can set a default in the main settings, okay, in the global settings. You can set a default sales tax rate. Mine is 8.25 because that's what it is in Houston, Texas. You can put a check mark here to apply to labor and materials if your labor is also taxable. This is your overhead and profit. We all know what that is. You can go ahead and increase that if you feel like it should be more, to maybe 15 and 15, or you can make it cumulative. You can also set the cumulative setting in the global settings, so it's already checked for you every time you create a new estimate. And you can also make the overhead and profit apply on top of sales tax. The last thing that you're going to do is come over here and decide whether this is going to be a 2-tier or a 3-tier building. So if you're just working on a normal residential home, then 2-tier is going to be just fine. If you're going to be working on a commercial property where there's going to be multiple buildings and then there's multiple units inside of each building, such as, I don't know, Building A, Unit 1, living room. Building A, Unit 1, dining room. That would be a 3-tier building. Okay, if you're just going to be in, Unit 1 living room, or just a house, where it just has living room, dining room, etc., then 2-tier is going to be just fine. So go ahead and also make sure that your company info is filled out. You can set this in your global settings, which I'm going to address in another video, to where it's already filled out when you create a new estimate. So I could click on Stephen right there, so it's going to make sure it puts my header at the top. Some of you have 2 or 3 different companies that you may be running and using inside of iScope, and so you can just switch between headers right here. Craftsman is the default database, although iScope does allow you to import your own databases. So if you were to have 2 or 3 or 4 databases, this is where you would choose which database you're going to be utilizing. This is your opening statement. Some of you, it has a built-in one for Florida. Some of you may want to put your own opening statement in there. And this is where you can do that. And you can just type in your opening statement and hit save. And that's pretty much all there is to that. And so let's go ahead and save changes. And that's pretty much all there is to the creation of the first estimate. I'm going to go further, of course, in additional videos, and I'm going to show you how to add rooms, dimension rooms, add line items to rooms, etc. But those are separate videos.